Namaste, Shalom, Salam, everybody. Satnam, and this is Mother Sophia. Now, I want to talk about the consequences of truth. There are consequences to truth. And to put it in plain terms, I'm going to give you an example. So, some time back, I met somebody who I've known for a long time, but we met at a random event. And he came up to me and he said, Sophia, can you tell me why I can't meet a nice girl? And he'd actually asked me out a number of times, but very unpolitely. It was more about, why don't you come to my place? Anyway, so obviously I would not succumb to that kind of low vibrational thinking, even then, which was a long time ago. But roll back a few years back where I met him, and he asked me this question, and why he couldn't meet a nice girl. He said, oh, let me buy you a drink. I don't know why I can't meet nice girls. You know, I don't know why. Can you tell me why? And I turned around and I said to him, because you're always hanging around with high-class escorts. And I don't think he was expecting that answer, because he was quite shocked. But that's the truth, is that this person was always in members clubs in London, always with high-class escorts. So I decided to tell him the truth. And the consequences of that were, I was in a members club one day, or one evening, and it was a very interesting evening. I didn't really want to dance much. I wasn't drinking at all. And I was with a couple of friends who were male, and they were with their wives or girlfriends. So I was pretty much keeping myself to myself. I was observing. I do like to observe sometimes. Anyway, so somebody from I'd left, woke up the next day not thinking anything of it. Then I got a call from the member saying, okay, this particular club has called me up and saying, no, first of all, he said, what happened yesterday? And I said, nothing. I danced a little bit. A few people asked me to dance. I didn't dance. I came home. And apparently what had happened, he said, well, the club's called me and they've said that they thought you were a working girl, which I laughed at. I said, well, what did you say? And my friend said, well, I said I'd call you and find out what went on. And obviously, firstly, I was upset because I didn't think that that was what my friend should have done. Knowing me, he should have he should have shouted at them and said, how dare you? So that was the first thing. But the second thing was, we finally understood what it was about, that this guy friend, who I told the truth to, was in there that night with his high-class escort. He has a regular who is on TV a lot. Well, not on TV. She graces a lot of red carpets. But because when you live in huge cities, you will know there are some very famous supermodels models and people who have become famous for certain things, and you know, socialites, etc., who are actually escorts. We have that in India a lot, in Bollywood, but they don't call it that. So he was in there that night, and he'd actually told this to the management. So that was the consequence of my truth, and it really upset me. The club eventually apologized, but that was the consequence of my truth. Now, luckily, I don't have an ego when it comes to things like that. So, you know, the club isn't important to me, even though in London there is a number of members clubs that it's a prestige to belong to, there are waiting lists, blah, blah, blah. And some of them are really, really good, fabulous, really good service. But what I'm saying is that it's not important to be a member of these places or to be seen in these places, because that's just what the ego wants. And so the consequence of truth can be something that is unpleasant. And mostly when there is a truth, especially if it's a powerful one, or if you're true to your emotions, then there are consequences. If you're in a relationship and whether there's some abuse, or the partner's flirting, or you know, there's something that you want to say to that person, and mostly people don't, because they're afraid of the repercussions of truth. I'll say that again. Mostly people don't live or speak their truth because they're afraid of the repercussions. And I'm not saying that, you know, people say, oh yes, I'm truthful in my life. I hear a lot of spiritual crap from a lot of people saying I speak my truth. When in actual fact, they're living a truth of something that they think is spiritual. So a lot of the books that they've read, like somebody said to me, a spiritual person said to me, everything that you see outside of yourself is yourself. You're manifesting it in some way, or it's a reflection of yourself. And I said, well, if you truly believe that, then you've read too many books, because there is rape that exists, there is child abuse that exists, and that is not a reflection of myself. It might be you, but it's not me. I know a different truth, that there is children of dark and there is children of light, and the children of dark are committing the atrocities. So people's truths can sometimes be learned, not felt. So the truth is always felt. And if you are brave enough to speak that truth, you open up many, many gateways and doorways. Yes, you have this life, but every truth, and every time you live your truth, even if that's going to have a consequence, you're opening gateways of enlightenment. You're stepping up the tree of life. You're getting closer and closer to the one, the great, the creative divinity, to your own powers of manifestation. Like true manifestation, not sitting there wanting to manifest a big house or a nice car. Those things are nice, but with truth comes abundance of all things, you know, whether it's love, whether it's money, and it's a complete trust. And the word surrender gets thrown around in spiritual circles. But what is surrender? It's surrendering to truth. What is it? What's truth? It's being able to speak and be everything that you're feeling. Everything that you're feeling, and that's not an easy thing to do, is it? And if you can, because as I said, there is so many consequences, the consequences that I've had. Some of you may have known that at some point I was on OnlyFans and there was no sex involved, but it was an instruction. It was a collection of, I had to collect lust and transmute it to love. And then after I did it, I was actually, oh my God, why did I do that? And I wasn't disgusted with it. It was more like I understood why I had to do that, to transmute lust. And that's the truth. And if I'd have probably been it may have affected me in the way people perceive me. But I don't give a shit, because my cause is greater, because it's a collective little people's. When I say little people, I mean people who are not gods and goddesses. Their opinion does not matter to me, because my mission is greater than them, and they do not understand that. And part of that mission is to make sure that they are safe and that the correct energies are being received by them. But they have been messed around with. So again, that was another truth that I had to go through. So truth and consequences. We have been positioned to live a life to be guided by ego. So the positioning has come into place by other children of dark who are occupying media outlets. These media outlets have been training you from a very young age in order to collect your thoughts, in order to create from those thoughts. So your thoughts are coming not from yourself, but of a program that is coming from a media. It's like a transmission. You are a receiver and a transmitter. Your transmissions are creating on a global scale. So when you're receiving information, and the masses do receive information, you are then bringing it back out again in manifestation, because that is the power of the children of light. Now, every time you're lying and you're not speaking your truth, you are suppressing this divine power, this divine outgoing from you. You're suppressing it, and you're lying to your power. So the power doesn't actually truly manifest what you're meant to receive, because you are constantly in a state of confusion, but the confusion thinks it's it's correct, because the information that you're receiving and being fed is then being transmitted by you. It's like if I told you that the word yes means banana, eventually you would say the word banana instead of yes. So it's a program. So this is what's been going on. But then what's going to happen is you're not going to be creating that which you want. You're creating the idea of what you think is, which has come from outside of yourself. And every time you're not truthful, you are taking away, not taking away the power. It's like lying. So when you're lying, it's an energy. Truth is a powerful energy. It's so powerful. You can, when you practice and become truth, I am the truth, I am the way. When you become truth, as a bulb, as a light, as a glow of truth, is when you become more and more powerful, you children of light, and you start to manifest and create as little gods. So this isn't about, hey, I'm hurting. This is about being in a place, small things like having a conversation with someone and you feel your energy being drained, and then you're like, oh, I don't really want to be here, or the music is too loud, or I don't like this song, it's affecting my energy. There's a lot of things like that that are causing disruptions in your vibration, and everything is a vibration. The cells in your body are held together because of a vibration and a frequency. Your heart has a particular vibration and frequency. So if you're vibrating incorrectly, then everything is going to go wrong. Your correct vibration comes from truth. And there are lots of ways of saying things, but always trust the instinct, because that is your power source of truth. Trust the instinct, speak your truth, and that which will fall away is that which was not needed by you in the first place. That which will fall away is that which was not needed by you in the first place. That which will fall away is that which was never you. So many masks and costumes were thrown upon you, and now it's time to be naked with purity, strength, and truth. I love you. Namaste, Shalom, Salam, Satnam.